Okay, now that all my heddles are threaded on all 8 shafts, it is time to connect the back ends of the warp ends tied in little knots to the apron bar that goes on the warp beam. And I'm going to do this in a way that, again, is unusual because I warped the loom front to back with a rattle, which is not usually how it's done. So why am I using a rattle? To recap, I've got a really dense set, 32 ends per inch for a 16-inch wide thing. This is really, really dense because rep weave has to be dense. And my weaving process will work best. I will do less damage to the warp ends if the warp ends go as straight as possible from the back of the loom to the front of the loom. So when I put these little bundles of warp ends all tied in these little knots into the rattle where the pins are spaced 1 inch apart, it will prevent, as I beam the warp, it'll prevent the warp ends from spreading out across the warp beam. It'll keep everything in check. So I'm going to take the top off my rattle, and I will use this again in a little bit, but for right now I don't need it. And I'm going to fit 26 of these little bundles into my rattle, and then I'm going to connect them to this apron bar. And I'm doing this in a slightly non-standard way. This isn't how, if you warped your loom from back to front, you would connect them. I'm going to use these tie-up cords. I love using these because they are all the same length. They are super strong, and I hope this is in view. There's no way for me to tell. They're super strong, they're all the same length, and they will actually give me a few more inches of weavable length on this warp, which normally is not that big a deal, but or for this project isn't that big a deal because I've got a fixed length that I'm weaving to after I do a little bit of sampling. But if I were, for instance, trying to squeeze as much yardage out of the cloth as I possibly could, just even a few extra inches of warp length can make a big difference. So I know that I want my project to be 16 inches wide, and the center pin of this rattle is marked in black. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to put the first warp bundle into that. And I'm just going to do a simple lark's head knot, although I'm going to do it the other way. And then I'm going to twist the loop end of this tie-up cord around the knot in the bundle. And I learned the hard way that it's really important for the knot in the bundle to be pretty doggone big. Otherwise you end up, the knot won't hold in the loop. So now that I know that happy fact, I can do this a lot more efficiently. And the number of my knot ends is bigger than 16 by quite a lot, even half. So I'm going to lay a little bit of this next bundle into the same space on the rattle that I just used, and I'm just going to work my way across doing this to connect everybody up.